So to address some of the most important points during the text RP as a group, you traveled for about 2 nights, about 2.5 days, almost 3 days, and as you neared the cusp of, actually I'm going to drag you all to the map so we can take a look at the map 1 second. Here we go. So you guys sailed all the way, I made a mark there, you can see it, the red mark, from Greihold over the northern cusp of Bellater, that whole region, to the coastline of Northold. There's the river that goes southeast from Northold down. And that whole region, that whole northern cusp of Bellater is covered in what Aldwulf said were called necrotic tempests. And the whole area is like an artificial night because it's covered by these blackened clouds that look almost like smoke. So some of the maps have a bit of a daytime tone to them, but it's really kind of like a twilight or a dusk. Yeah, and so you guys pulled up. There's a bit of a wreckage here of another ship. It just seems to have been here for a while. Lots of algae and barnacles on it and whatnot. And so you, for the most part, you've kind of decided that Gallo would be important because he's interested in hunting and he's a bounty for the Death Locks. I know that Joseph was interested in bringing Ivan as backup, kind of working together. And then, who was the other NPC we were discussing?
The Turtle as well.
The Turtle wanted to do zoology and wanted us to bring stuff back.
And Aldwulf, of course. Right? Aldwulf is the one, yeah. So.
Our guide.
Right, so those 3 NPCs were the ones that I think you were mostly thinking of bringing.
What about the Paladin is still injured and healing, yeah?
Yes, the Paladin is injured and healing.
Yeah, is actually Aldwulf going to have a look at the armor? Or?
Aldwulf already took a look at it. He says he's going to need help. Someone's going to have to bring it. So the Paladin's armor got very damaged from the Sea Serpent attack, and Aldwulf said he doesn't have the tools he needs on board the ship, but if we bring the armor with us so someone can carry it with them, we might be able to find a forge on land and work on it there.
Is it magic armor?
Almanar.
It is not magic armor.
Could I cast mending to fix it?
You could probably mend some of the smaller holes, but it has taken a significant amount of damage.
That's the message.
You could probably use it several times. Is it a cantrip? I forget, or a level 1?
It is a cantrip.
Cantrip, it takes a minute for each one.
I feel like the integrity of it might still be weakened, but you can definitely close up some of the holes.
It would be functional.
It would be functional, yeah. I mean, it even is functional as is, but so it's up to you guys if you wanted to bring it on shore or not. I leave that decision up to you guys.
Also, I was thinking about that Joseph could call the group together for a little meeting before we go on shore, because he has some items of interest that he doesn't know that do what not, and probably there are people who might figure shit out.
Yeah, I mean, by all means,
Can he perhaps do that like the day before? Since we have 2 days at sea doing nothing, because then we can cast identify on things, right?
Yeah, definitely. I did bring that up for a reason, but yeah, definitely, you guys can do that the day before. If you guys want to cast anything the day before, now's the time to talk about it.
Okay, how many objects? Okay, yes.
It's a ritual, so it doesn't matter.
So
you can just do it over and over.
All right, so Joseph, what is it that you have here that you'd like identified?
Joseph goes, puts his hand into his vest and pulls out a magic wand. First of all, I have no idea what this does. Maybe you could give me an answer and he will hand it to you.
I do the identify ritual.
Magic-y magics.
What is it, Steve?
So, this has 3 charges on it, which he already knows. But what he doesn't know is that it's a wand of counterspell.
Hold on.
Wand of counterspell.
Wow, that's actually really strong.
Yeah.
Hold that shit.
Counter spell, your
Yeah.
counter spell.
And for the second, and he will also ask it back, of course.
Sure, do you know how to use this?
I'll figure it out. And he'll put it in his vest. And now this second object of interest, he goes into. Okay, so the meeting is probably going on in the cabin area where the big table was, I think, on the ship.
Probably.
He goes into his cabin and brings out a wrapped object. He will thunk it on the table, and the paladin thought is very true. The paladin thought this is evil. I have no idea what it is. I tried opening it but failed. Didn't dare to do it again. So
I wouldn't recommend opening the evil box. No, that would probably be a really fucking bad idea.
I don't know what it actually is.
Can I cast Identify on it, Steve?
Well, first of all, you haven't seen it yet. I haven't unwrapped it.
Oh well.
So
okay.
you can cast Identify basically on anything magical, but it may not yield the same quality result. It depends on the object and things like that. Also, out of curiosity, how many times can you cast it per day? Or
It's
choose
a
to cast it
ritual,
per day?
so you can cast it in a limited amount of times as long as you take.
It just takes
an
11
extra
minutes.
Oh, that's
to
right. Yeah,
cast
that's right. Cool. Yeah, so you can do that if you choose to.
Well, I basically showed her the box too. Like I uncover it and yeah.
Yes, so the box, and I'll recap because this was all in text RP for the most part, is about a foot and a half or almost 2 feet wide. It's about half a foot depth and about a half a foot height. So, and it's actually quite heavy, and it's kind of dark wood like mahogany, and it has carvings of a forest all over it, and hidden in the artwork, in the artistry, there's like skulls in the forest there. It also smells a bit of like seaweed in the ocean as well.
So
I
the
hope this
person-
isn't a box of summoning sea serpents or something. I'm
Summons
going
a
to
kraken.
cast Identify on it, Steve. What do I find out?
Kraken's
So-
box.
So it doesn't give you a clear definition of what it is, but you know that it's necrotic, and you sense that there may be souls somehow involved with it or in it.
Okay. I didn't get a really clear image, but this is necrotic, and it's probably got souls sucked into it in some way. I think you got a box of trapped souls, and I don't know if they're good souls or evil souls, but this thing is evil. Where did you fucking get this?
Did you steal it?
What the hell?
First of all, no.
Fair.
Secondly, no. I got this from a friend as a. Well, he wanted to give a parting gift, but he said it's more than of an oddity than anything. He said that a sailor found it somewhere, hence the smell of seaweed, and that it might bring much wealth, but also great pain. I'm surprised that it hasn't been sold at all, because for its and also for its age, you can see that there are basically no scratches on the wood itself besides the lock. You can see it has been, well, someone has
Smells
tried to
good.
force it open.
Far away
Okay,
as
okay.
you can.
Okay. For sale, evil box of trapped souls. Might make you rich, but bring you terrible suffering. Cheap.
Joseph
I mean,
just shrugs.
Who
Joseph shrugs.
gives you that as a parting gift? Here, have a box of suffering and trapped souls.
You do realize who you're
There
talking
are-
about, correct?
Have a great
Hold
fucking
on,
journey.
hold on. If there are souls inside, it is our obligation to open it safely when we know how to open it and release them, no?
Well,
Joseph
and-
takes out 2 lockpicks.
No.
Remember what I said about safely, not on a
Yeah.
boat. Never open an unknown magical object on a boat.
And we don't
Joseph
know what
shrugs.
kind of souls have been trapped. These could be devil souls.
They
They
also
could be-
angel soul. I don't know.
Well,
It could be humanoid.
Necromancy
It could
isn't
be-
necessarily evil.
Can I
Your
speak?
wounds is necromantic.
Thank you. The paladin said that she sensed evil. Also, a thing to note. She also sensed evil in the feasting room when this box wasn't present there. I got this from a barman, a good friend of mine, an innkeeper, sorry. And like I said, he said it's more of an oddity than a parting gift, but it's the best he
Ah.
got. He had no idea what this is.
Right. Well, okay, so the paladin
what-
sensed
What
evil
do you mean
in
he sensed evil? Yes. Evil where?
in the great room when we had the dinner, and he didn't have the box then. So somebody there was evil, or something there was evil.
Something.
The
I wish
box-
she had said something at the time.
Could we go ask her to see if that person is still here?
Yeah,
Can't
let's go
paladins
ask her
tell
if she.
exactly
Wait,
what's evil?
wait,
Like they can
wait.
smell it out and see it.
One moment. I already had this conversation with her. She said, at least to my memory, she thinks that it's not on the ship or whatever it was. She hasn't sensed it anymore.
Oh,
Huh.
well, that's promising.
That is not reassuring at all. No, because
Well-
either it's not here and it's somewhere where we can't keep an eye on it, or it is here and we no longer know it is.
There are a lot of evil things and a lot of evil places that we can't do anything about.
The world is pretty much drenched in evil these days. I don't know if you've noticed.
For the
Look
evil to be
outside.
picked up by, I don't know. I feel like for a paladin to note that something is evil, it probably would be much worse than
Joseph is lighting a cigarette.
whoever was there. I do not trust. I feel like we should go over this again. Have her do a check.
Well, all right, but I gesture at the necrotic storm that we can see. I mean, more evil than that.
Well, I mean, she maybe it's out of her radar or something. I don't know.
I'll
We got
take
a
the
range
box
from
with
our
me.
spells.
I'll take the box with me, and when we can open it. Maybe after when this fucking storm.
How
is
about? All right. How about this? You keep the box on your person and do not leave my sight.
Yeah, but don't try to open it until we know more about it. By opening it, we might make the rot permanent or something. We really don't know what this thing does at all.
Very
So.
Well, when you jiggle it around, it rumbles inside, or at least there are items inside. It could
This
be
is
a
the worst
ritual.
I could be.
It could be a ritualic box or something. Could be meant for rituals.
Do I recognize
But it's got souls in it.
Do I recognize the carvings on the box?
Make a. Let's see. We're gonna go with. Let's go with an intelligence or investigation roll. You do not. They appear to just be artistic and kind of
Looks like trees.
macabre. Yeah, macabre. Because you also see the skulls if you look for more than a second or two. They're not super well hidden, but they're kind of artistically woven through the trees and whatnot. Lorraine, you also don't necessarily recognize anything particular about the carvings, but they do kind of creep you out a bit. It's a forest with pine trees and skulls within
Sure, the souls will tend to do that to people.
within the corners of the forest and whatnot.
I appreciate. Wait, what was your name again?
Joseph.
Right, Joseph. Thank you,
And
Joseph. I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Perhaps it will play a part in what we're about to do. I don't know. I don't know if it'll do us good or harm. I'm a little leery about that great suffering thing. I mean, for all we know, you open the box, and everyone around you's soul gets sucked into it, except for you, and then you gain something from it, but everybody else is trapped in an eternal death box hell. So.
Joseph thinks a moment, cocks his head to the side.
Perhaps we make the large armored elf man carry the box.
It is pretty heavy.
I can carry it in my bag with no trouble. This will not
Yes,
leave
but
me.
you also seem to have the means to open it, and a rather curious demeanor towards it, son.
I mean, I am not dumb enough not to open it alone.
I mean, not curious enough to be stupid, evidently.
Can I roll an insight check, Steve,
On who?
on Joseph and
Sure.
what he's saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do I have
And Joseph,
I
tell
don't-
me the DM what your intentions are and your attitudes.
He's lying.
Do I not roll inside you for a save or
No,
something?
no. In this situation, it would just be his insight roll on you.
My character doesn't believe you, so he's just like, he's kind of suspicious of the
Well,
vibes.
with a 12, you're not entirely certain. You're not entirely convinced. You're not entirely disbelieving either.
But perhaps just to be safe, for the foreseeable future, perhaps the next couple days or so, someone besides you should be carrying the box.
I feel like that might be a good idea. Like, you typically don't keep the key directly next to the lock.
This box that will not leave me. It's mine and mine alone.
Look, his friend gave it to him as a gift.
Fair enough.
Persuasion roll, Joseph, please. Sorry to interrupt.
The what?
Do a persuasion roll, please. Or if you're trying to come across as more intimidating, you can also do an intimidation roll. But it sounds like more of a persuasion roll to me. I don't know. You tell me.
No, he is saying that box will not leave his side.
So more persuasion than intimidation, you would say.
He's setting a boundary, I think, is what he's doing.
So I'm gonna go with persuasion. Go ahead and roll it.
Brandon, we did eat meat.
Wait.
3 days
Oh
ago.
fuck! Sorry, I had advantage. For some reason I had advantage. Let me try again.
Okay, do a clean one. Do a clean one. Yeah. You're persuasive enough for people to be like, all right, it's his box. You know, as long as he's not going to openly endanger us with it and keep it to himself and maybe not open it without announcing it, then it should be fine.
All right, Joseph, here is the deal. You keep the box, but if it comes out of your backpack and into your hands, I'm going to smash your head through the first thing I can find. All right?
Joseph narrows his eye. Joseph narrows his eye and
doesn't even wait for a response. Just like, all right, next thing.
Sorry to interrupt again, but like honestly, that warrants an intimidation check. So go ahead and roll that.
It's just us talking. It's just us talking to each other. I don't know, like.
Yeah, you don't have to roll it if you don't want to make an impact.
It's
That's
not
fine.
even to scare him. I'm telling
Fair
you,
enough.
if you touch that box, I'm going to hurt you. There's no. It's not
Fair
a
enough.
threat. It's a promise. Exactly.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
If you do this, I will do this.
All right. So, that you said, perhaps we do a bit of This is like 2 days before we get to the shore, right?
Wait.
This is.
yeah.
This is the dusk before, the evening beforehand. Because I'm kind of retconning and rewinding just enough for you guys to cast what you need to cast.
So wait, one thing, DM. Did Joseph know that Lorien is related to Nim, or?
Yeah, I told everybody.
That, and also you overheard some of the conversation last night of her feelings of loss over Nim when she was talking to Cathreftes with your listen roll. But yeah, you know that they're related through marriage, not by blood.
Also, Lorien, I think there is one or maybe two other things I must talk to you directly.
Very well.
Like, I know that you were related to Nim, and
Yeah.
there were some things that happened in the meanwhile. Well, first of all, he pulls out a dark dagger behind his coat. Do you
He's got a
recognize
knife.
He's got a knife. Kill him.
it? No, he's holding it. But
Yeah, no, I know.
Yes, that was her dagger. How did you get that?
when I was taking a stroll last night, it was, well, I think we both heard, or I don't know how many. I thought she threw it into the water after I returned it to her, but it was stuck in the woods, where she swiped it off. So yeah, that's one thing. He places the dagger on the table, and a bit more of a gruesome thing, which honestly makes my stomach turn. At the Fighters Club, I think we all remember that she got into a small fight with Gala.
Yes.
After which I went looking for her, and we had a little conversation, and she did something very unexpected. She asked for something sharp. I thought she wanted to fight. Instead, she cut her arm open, handed me her flask, and filled it with her blood, and he pulls out the flask. This is full of Nimwala's blood, and he places it slowly on the table while he's talking. From what she told me of her tragic backstory. That she got some info that there is something in her blood that the... One moment, what was
The cultists of Gondodar, or that which lurks, were interested in.
That the cultist of that which lurks need her blood. There is something in that blood that is a key, I guess, for... It's an essential part of them, you know, getting, I guess, their god here or whatever. I can't remember that well. So this is the only... probably the only thing left of Nim, as he is. And he looks at Lorien in the eye.
I slowly look down and I pick up the vial of blood and cradle it in my hands.
It's actually not a vial, it's her flask that she used to drink out of. It's
a flask.
To clarify, it was an empty glass flask, not a liquor flask and not a vial. So it was just like an empty glass flask.
A glass flask.
Filled to the tips off.
And I looked at him, and she gave this to you. And I tilt my head and narrow my eyes in confusion that she would entrust this to a relative stranger.
To be quite honest. Sorry.
Was she really drunk at the time?
She was dry hefting, or what's it called?
Dry heaving.
She was quite dry heaving. She was in a bad way, yes, and I guess that is also one way why she did it. I was also myself surprised, kinda almost vomited at the sight of that. Maybe some of you have noticed a blood stain on my sleeve one time. I got it off, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
So please
I
understand.
spent a lot of time covered in blood, so I didn't really, but...
I try to keep myself clean as much as possible.
Thank you for bringing this to my attention and returning these things to me. I do very much appreciate it.
I did the right thing.
Yes, thank you. I put the dagger in my bag, and then I gently hand the vial of blood into the bag of holding to the homunculus and tell it to keep it safe.
Very good. Make sure that's in your inventory. You can just write Nim's dagger, and you can write Nim's blood, or flask of Nim's blood, something along those lines. And Joseph, make sure to erase those.
Yeah, I just did.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else that anybody would like to cast Identify on, or any other orders of business?
Joseph gave a little smile and then of that just said that's it.
Pavel's gonna have everybody do the presidential fitness test.
I pat Joseph on the shoulder and give his shoulder a little squeeze. You have gained 3 points in acceptance from Lorien.
You can feel Joseph's you can feel him tense up. He really does not take kindly to people touching him, or at least not yet.
I let go pretty quickly then.
Yeah, you can just feel the fucking effects.
Ulrich, make a sleight of hand roll, please.
Oh yeah, I got you.
He's pickpocketing me from across the room.
You have been very very careful, and you've been very careful with your hands. You've been keeping them very well out of view. Excellent.
Either way, I won't be needed anymore. So that book of lockpicking that I stole from those other guys, I want to just kind of slide it across the table towards Joseph.
And as you do it, you also keep your hands pretty well concealed, and any parts of your hand that you want to be concealed. That's why you did the roll. Very good. So yeah, Joseph, he slides you over, and you immediately recognize it as a book of lockpicking, a manual of lockpicking, if you will.
He raises his eyebrow and looks to Ulrich.
What? Someone had to know how to lockpick stuff.
Useful skill to have.
He will slowly take it to his hand. Well, there is certainly a few more things I can pick up from this. And he will turn the book around, look at it and stuff like that. And actually here I'd like to inspect the book, just because.
Make an inspection roll.
I make some spooky writing on the back of it.
Wait, what it is.
Inspection, you mean investigation?
Sorry, investigation. I'm thinking of 3.5 or some shit. So you can tell that this is a manual of lockpick. It has nothing out of the ordinary about it, and you know that if you take the time to read it, which you can do overnight, will greatly improve your abilities and your understanding of a wide variety of locks and different makes of locks.
Joseph will get even better at lockpicking now. Lovely.
When he's inspecting it, kind of like makes him like some pages just appear blank with minor illusion.
Is that something you want to do?
So,
I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he was looking like at the covers. I don't think.
Oh,
But
wow.
the thing is, as
Like-
soon as he moves the book, the illusion breaks.
Oh yeah, it does. All right, never mind. Because it wouldn't work.
So as we
Joseph
wrap
says
up
that-
this, sorry, go on.
Joseph says, "I'll have a look at this," and he just he puts it in his overcoat's inner chest pocket. Is it called it inner chest pocket?
Yeah,
Right there.
it is rather small too. It is a rather small manual.
It's a pocket manual for thieves on the go.
Yeah. Well, we do have quite a trip ahead. I'll prepare things then. And he starts wrapping the box together and ties it off with a knot.
Sorry, one more thing, Sid, I forgot to mention. You also notice there are several sections that are written only in Thieves' Camp. So as we
No wonder
approach...
I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, parts of it. So as we approach the night, is there anything else in the area of spellcasting, at least, that you want to do, any of you? Just so you can make sure to have those spell slots replenished.
Not that I know of.
I recommend you all do some prestidigitation on your clothes, otherwise you're going to smell real bad. You guys been
Oh, I
through
like
some...
always.
Oh, yeah.
have that.
Don't touch me.
I don't have to touch you to do it.
Fair enough.
Joseph
Just
would
leave
actually
me be. A sailor is a sailor is a sailor.
Joseph
Snap my
would
finger and your
actually
hair's clean.
-4 charisma because you smell like you've been inside the mouth of a sea serpent. No, I'm kidding.
+4 intimidation.
I mean, he'll like wash that off, but he's not gonna like.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Joseph would actually be appreciative of that.
I got you, homeboy.
Also, is there an option to shave? Because is there a straight razor somewhere he can shave with?
We got a magic knife somewhere.
You can borrow. Actually, yeah, you can actually have the fellow who died. What's his name? Blanking out.
You
But
mean
yeah.
Captain?
Yeah, so Keth, the half orc, is very morose over what happened, and in the evening by candlelight, he does hand you, Joseph, one or two things, and anybody else who would like any of his belongings. But he has nothing more than some very basic things like soap and like a map and things like that. Nothing of real value. But you can have the straight razor, Joseph, if you so want it.
All right.
All right.
But yeah, Pavel voices concerns about having prestidigitation on him just for the fact that he doesn't know how magic is going to react to touching him because of
That's a good
previous
point.
events.
We can try when we get to land.
Yeah,
So
also Joseph shaves too.
is everyone in agreement on having those crew members join on land? Those three that we discussed, Yvonne, Gallo, and Aldwolf?
I think that's probably good.
Yes.
All right. And how many horses would you like to bring? I believe you have a total of 6 on the ship.
How many people?
I mean, enough for us all, I guess, to move on a better pace.
Well, there are 10 of you, including the NPCs.
And there's 6 horses. And these are what kind of horses, Steve?
So Ev was helping me out of character. I'm gonna go with whatever the hell you want, man. So just you choose.
Percherons. We're gonna go with Percherons.
There we go.
What are those? Wait,
So those are draft horses, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They're what Destriers were. Their ancestors are Destriers.
They're
They're
big fucking horses.
heavy war draft horses.
So they can definitely hold 2 people at least.
That's no more than 2, and in reality, but for the purpose of Dungeons and Dragons, let's say yes, they can carry 2 people each.
I mean,
We should try to match up smaller people with bigger people.
Wait, can someone just send me a picture of how those horses look? Because I think I am having the wrong image.
It's a big fucking
sure.
horse. But yeah,
I There you go.
I'm gonna pour a little more
General.
ale here to get in character a little bit more. Hell yeah.
Big.
Oh my god, those things can carry at least 2 people, like maximum 2 people at least.
Well, if you put more on, it's bad for their backs.
Well,
yeah.
Eva's my go-to for horse
carrying
lore
like 100
because
pounds of
she. I've ridden several ways in several places, but Ev knows more than I do. That's for sure.
Those were
Yeah.
the kind of horses that fucking
They carried
plowed our
knights
land.
with armor. They carried knights with armor.
Good shit.
That's what they were bred for. But yeah, I mean, you really don't want to have two people on a horse. But we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and
D&D. We got fantasy magic stuff.
we're gonna say these are
I'll allow
special, heavy boned,
I'll allow it.
short enough. Yeah, they've got the build and they've got the strength, and they can carry two people and be fine. So
We just bought a giant sea snake.
exactly.
Pretty sure
Are we
a
gonna
D&D
be like hauling ass or just traveling? Because Vavel can walk. He's pretty
Traveling.
quick.
It's gonna be traveling speed.
Traveling.
That's what Aldwolf says. He says you guys are gonna be going upstream, upriver rather, and traveling at a good pace. So if you're gonna go on foot, you're definitely gonna have to keep to a speed walk at least.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm speed 40.
Because he's not really familiar with horses and he doesn't trust them.
And
Doesn't
out of
trust a lot of
character,
There
out of
is a
character,
learning-
Vivel has the ability to push on harder than anybody else. As far as I
Oh
know.
yeah, you can do that.
Just the fucking the mama and papa were lining just next to the fucking horses running
Yes.
for like 10 hours.
Now, right, if you're not familiar with riding a horse, you're gonna be sore as fuck, and it's not as easy as I'm just gonna sit and we're gonna move. Horses move in 3 different directions. There's a kind of an oscillation you have to do to your hips. Up, down,
God,
forward, and
Oh
side
my
to side.
Joseph hasn't ridden a horse, I think.
Well, he's gonna learn fast. Joseph can sit in front of or
Wow.
behind somebody that does know how to ride.
It's a good way to
Oh,
learn because you're not going to be doing any
I-
running or jumping. You're going to be just
Yeah.
going
Vavel
on a
knows how to
journey.
operate land vehicles and ride horses. He
I
just
was,
doesn't
I,
like
was
it.
going to, I
horse.
was going to say that maybe Ivan and Joseph travel together, but I guess he needs to learn.
I would say that Joseph has ridden a horse before. I mean, this is a homebrew D&D, and like you generally know how to ride, but maybe you're just not as experienced as everyone else as a city folk.
Like, if you
but-
don't have a horse, how do you get around, you know?
yeah.
No, Lorian is nobility and spent many years riding horses, hunting on horses, etc.,
Mhm.
etc.
I love that backstory.
How long are we
Um,
going to be on land? Oh,
So
sorry.
there's one last order of business before we pass through the night. Is Joseph going to read the manual or not for this evening?
Actually, I guess he would, yeah, because I forgot we have one night more.
Okay, if that's the case, this is the first time someone's getting a permanent boost to a stat. You are getting a +1 to Thieves' Tools. So I think there's an actual thing there for a modification. I don't know how that
I
works.
think
Let me take a
there's
look.
the cog, wait, where is it?
Yeah, you hit the cog and then you do modification. So let me see
no,
if
no,
that...
you don't even got to worry about that, right? It's just in the bottom left. Or which cog are you talking about?
The cog for the tool itself.
Okay, yeah,
Also-
because there's like the whole like the options menu. You don't got to worry about it. Yeah, you
Somebody
start
just
mod.
hit the wrong cog. Here we go. Sorry, it's the cog right by Thieves Tools, right? And then there's a little thing that says mods. I'm gonna push 1 on it.
Yeah.
And now it's 10.
okay.
Beautiful. So now you just got a permanent +1 to your Thieves Tools abilities, which is actually pretty dope because that actually helps
Holy
with
shit, plus
traps
10.
as well. So yes,
Hold on,
we are.
Can I just
Yep.
do a test roll
On what though?
on Thieves' Tools?
On
Just-
the
box.
on
just
the box.
just to feel it in his
No.
hand.
I
No.
have the black box that the deck of card, the deck of many things was in. We could have him test on that.
I don't remember if that was locked or not. Was it?
I
It has a
think
key.
so.
I think
I
it had a
just- I
keyhole,
just-
right?
We
just
have
want-
there's a door or something around
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I got the
Fine.
paint.
Yeah.
No, I just
Just
wanted to
just
do
go to
out
Keth
of
and be like, hey,
character.
can I practice on one of these boxes to Keth? And Keth will
We're
be like,
gonna
sure.
lock you in your room.
On one of the
for a
doors,
little
I
bit.
mean.
I wanted to
Make
do
a roll.
out of
Make a roll.
character.
Yeah.
No, you have to do it in character. It has to be in character. You pick the lock of one of the mundane doors on the ship with ease.
Bam. Look
That's
at
a
how
plus.
useful that
That's a
was.
+10 on that. Holy shit. That's gonna be
Yeah,
a
it
juicy
it's
skill to
the-
have.
it feels like you have somebody with
It's like a
expertise in a tool, another bonus.
Hmm.
Hopefully ready to go.
Okay, so it's the next morning. It's sort of an artificial night. It's almost similar to like when a volcano has ash that just blackens the sky. But as Aldwolf explains, these are the necrotic tempests. Although they're always looming overhead, they are extremely dangerous when they actually sweep through at the lower levels of the atmosphere. And you actually start to rot away if you stay within them, and you need to find shelter when they come by, and they can last for 1 or several hours. You've decided to take how many horses now? All 6?
Yes.
All right.
How long are we going to be on land, or do we plan to be on land for?
Old Wolf says if you keep a steady, quick pace, it should take about 2 days to get to Northold, and then from there, he's going to try to figure out where you have to go. I mean, he knows how to get you to Northold, but he doesn't necessarily know where this necromancer is. Or the
Are we
origin of the
expecting a
rock.
lot of water?
You know
where
he's
we're
in
going?
a
Probably
tower.
Not, right?
I've heard many legends. Now what you need to know is that Golazar is the word that we use to describe Protector. Protector of our city. He was one of the protectors of our village. He was a great wizard. I do not know his actual name, and I do not know if he is in a tower or if that is of legend.
I heard somewhere that he was in a tower. From a fairly reliable source. An asshole source, but a reliable source when it comes to this.
That's
But I have another question for you. Do you know of any good dragons, or just any dragons that live in this area?
Well, I hear many legends of dragons in many places. Some say there are ancient or adult black dragons, but I can't say for certain. These type of creatures tend to lay dormant for very long periods of time. And the most relevant information that I've heard before leaving Northold is that Golazar the Risen has been near the mounds of the dead. Many, many tombs. We have hundreds and hundreds of tombs and mounds, knolls, if you will. Grassy hills that span the countryside and the mountains. It's impossible to tell which of these hundreds and hundreds of tombs he could be in.
I raise my hand. I want to be cremated when I die. just putting that out there right now. Anyway, go on.
Do you want your ashes spread?
You see a small smirk come from him. He's usually got a very serious face. Is there anything that anybody would like to leave on the ship? If so, you can simply put in parentheses next to the item on ship or something. Because you each have your own personal room.
Click the check next to it. It'll take it out of your inventory as well.
That
Like,
too,
take it off
yeah.
your weight.
That too, yeah.
So wait, would I be over encumbered with all these things? Cat.
Right now, nobody is over encumbered. I would say out of everybody, maybe Lorian is probably like at the brink.
I've got a bag of holding.
There you go. See, I forgot about that. Thank you. That's probably why I gave it to you.
Yep, because I'm a hoarder.
Well, also because you're a wizard. Your strength is 11 and you're carrying all this crazy fucking magical shit. But, yeah, I think I'd have to take a closer look, but I think everyone is fine at the moment.
Yeah, I'll take everything, including the box.
Plate
I'm
armor
taking my
that Kath
birth control
Refuse
for sure.
has... Like, armor is honestly the heaviest thing. Armor and weapons are the heaviest things that you guys are currently carrying.
I turned to Vivel. I want my ashes sent home to my family.
Alright,
I quickly give him the information about my family and where they can be located.
So for those
I
of you
appreciate it.
for those of you who do not have an origin in this realm, if you look at the map, there's sort of like another area which is similar to like Sword Coast and vanilla type stuff over the sea to the west, which is not on the map. And your character is one of the characters, Lorian, that originated from that region. And some of these other characters, like Sandra, for example, originated from here. Vivel would have originated from this.
we're not on that map. We're on the ocean one still.
No, I'm just saying though, like it's
You're saying here, like, okay.
here as in like this entire homebrew, as opposed to like across the continental sea to the west.
Like Sandra's from the east, or wherever the fuck. Like,
Yeah.
east of where we are, right? Yeah.
Well, Sandra, actually, we'll get to that another time, but you have a specific mountain range that you've originated from.
Yeah. The village just from Greyhold.
So, is there anything else that anybody would like to leave behind, or is everyone ready to make the journey? You're going to make it northwest along the river, on the northern side of the river.
So who all are we taking?
As far as NPCs are concerned, Yvonne is going to work very closely with Joseph. You have Gallo, who's looking to complete a bounty on alleged deathlocks. And you have Aldwulf, who knows the region better than anybody. He owns a farm that has been overrun and his family killed by the undead and the tempests. So he knows the way. Aldwulf is the one who knows the way to Northold up the river.
It's actually just before we set off, Joseph goes to Altdorf and says, kinda quietly, but no, I guess normal speech. Well, let's go and get your farm back, your home back. And he smiles.
Oh, sorry, I have something after this.
Well, he just nods back at you silently. Go ahead, Vivel.
I was gonna tell whoever's Kath is staying on the boat, right?
No, I forgot to bring him along. Everyone's coming, actually, yeah.
Whoever on the boat is the most competent at manning it, I'm gonna ask them to take the boat about 2,000 feet off the shore, and when we need them, I'll make a smoke signal for them.
I mean,
back.
like
that would be Keth, and he has already been told by Aldwulf that the shore is extremely dangerous. The storms can also kill anybody on the ship, and but yeah, the smoke signal is actually a good point. Very good.
Yeah, just like a way to signal them to come back, but make sure they're like out of view of the shore.
A little note of thing: you would never dock a big ship like this near a coast like this. It should be like how you go on the coast is by rowboats. Everything you can't get this close because you can just beach the boat. So you're already like far enough.
It's fine.
Something that I didn't mention is the Stygian, the ship, has 2 dinghies that are kind of concealed by the curvature of the ship. But it does have 2 dinghies at your disposal. But for ease of getting the horses off, you guys didn't use the dinghies. It just pulled right up. And the ship is now making its way off the shore to follow Vivel's instructions. So you can go ahead and drag your tokens on to this for now.
Can you make me a little bit bigger and then like resave my token? Because I'm like half
Yeah,
my size.
yeah, because you're like a barbarian motherfucker. There we go. Let me
I
do
have
that.
no idea how to get my token.
You just click your name, right? And then you just drag it out.
There you go. It should be a little bigger now.
I need to refresh my
Hold
page. I just
on.
fucking crashed it.
Yeah. So how do you want to distribute who sits on what horse and whatnot? It's not that important, actually, to be honest with you. We're going to fast forward time a little bit.
Okay, it doesn't work. I can't get my token here.
It's okay, it's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward time a bit, and we're going to make some rolls as well. You can all make a perception roll. You all. So it's about midday now when you get off the ship, and you're all riding, following Aldwulf's instruction on the right side of the river, going northwest the whole day. And you're going at like a steady, I want to say like 10 mile an hour pace. It would be kind of like a brisk walk, almost a jog for Vivel, who's on foot. And like I said, he can push himself a little bit longer and harder than most of you. So go ahead, make your perception rolls.
50. 70, sorry.
Sorry, I
No,
have to scroll up my big ass inventory. There we go.
If we're doing like a marching order, I want to put Vivel kind of in the center. So he has quick access to anybody who needs it.
I guess I'll
Aldwulf is definitely leading since he's a guide.
I think I'd like to ride with Aldwulf.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So he's gonna take the reins if that's all right with Lorian.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll backpack him.
So
Right behind him.
Lorian, so you all with these rolls, you all see that the entire countryside is suffering from pestilence and plague. A lot of the vegetation looks like it's fine, but if you touch it, it literally crumbles in your hand like it's petrified or like it's like hardened almost. And you can see that the vegetation is not indeed healthy. It's a trick of the eye. It's always like kind of like a twilight or a dusk during the daylight hours from this ash and smoke swirling high up in the sky. And you do see many undead walking as you make your way. You avoid them for the most part. You're moving at a brisk pace, and many of them are at a distance. You see the same kind of zombies that you saw while you were in Gryhold from a distance. It's definitely hostile territory. It's definitely a place you want to keep moving. And the river's a good place because at all times you have one side covered. You have the water, which is moving at a very fair pace to your left, moving from northwest down to southeast. So you can always sort of keep that side of you covered. Yes.
2 things. 1, Lorian is going to mask up and recommend that everybody else does the same. Yes. Masking up. We did it before the pandemic in this game too.
I don't believe in masks. I don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Lorian. Okay. Yeah. And 2, I'm going to ask Rohal to feed the horses with good berry, and not and make sure they are not allowed to eat any of the plants here.
Yes. He does so. He does so.
Are we following the flow of the river, or is it flowing the opposite direction we're going?
It's flowing toward the sea, southeast. We're going northwest.
Okay.
Toward Northwood, which is at the base of the
never
mountains.
mind, because he has a swim speed. His walking speed.
He swims against the current.
I put my scarf over my nose and mouth, I guess, and tie it off in the back.
Yes. And then you also hear Aldwulf say, as he points out something on the other side of the river, which looks like a hunched over being with long black arms and a dropped, stretched jaw, and he says, "Those are the Bodaks. They're twisted souls that can kill you with just a glance of their eyes. We must we must be very cautious and silent around them. But you are a safe distance across the river. The river is fairly wide, but you can see them clearly. You're close enough to see them roaming in the distance. I don't have an image prepared for that, but someone can feel free to drop an image of the Bodak in general chat.
Yeah, I got it.
And you see these things, and you steer very clear of them. Lorian is the first to notice. Lorian and Joseph both kind of simultaneously notice that any of the rations that you have on you, any food that you have that is not magical or alcoholic, has rotted and spoiled.
Is it shielded?
I'm keeping my rations in the bag of holding. So
and I did think about that, and I was debating. And I'm gonna let them be preserved.
Yeah.
Just because it makes sense in the physics of the magic. And it is nightfall now. Sorry, go ahead, Sid. What was that?
My stuff is rotten now. Great.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. That's something that Aldwulf did not mention because he was actually uncertain about how that works. It was very hectic for him when he originally made his way out.
If the food is rotting, then we're all at risk of rotting too. Eventually, this is very bad.
You all feel fine so far physically, except you're all reaching the point of exhaustion, except for Vivel. Vivel is still feeling somewhat energetic.
So are our water skins fucked too? So.
Yes, the water inside has become murky and muddy, but anything alcoholic does not. Anything alcoholic or magical is not. So good berries will be fine. Okay. Anything summoned will be fine. Anything alcoholic is fine, strangely, as well.
I'm checking over the horses to see if there's any signs of them being affected.
And make a investigation as well, because animal handling is more like handling them.
Damn.
They do seem fine, and they actually haven't gotten really too spooked by all of these things. They've kept a good pace. You guys have been led well by Aldwulf's instruction, his guidance. It is nightfall, and you do have a full night. You know, like during the day, everything's like twilight because the clouds, but it is fully night. And he recommends setting up a camp fire by a good inlet next to a cliffside and water on the other side. So.
How is the water in the river? Does it seem tainted?
You can't really tell by sight, but if you pick it up in in your hand or anything, you can see that it is quite murky.
Don't I have?
Wait.
I'm gonna drag some of you fellas over here.
Wait, does tobacco also go away?
The plants do not. I also debated whether that was gonna happen or not, but the plants are in good condition.
Spend all my money on tobacco and just immediately fucking.
You're right, disappears.
That would be hilarious. That would be quite hilarious.
Vel, I don't feel so.
Are these ladders actually here, or is this just?
The ladders are there.
Can prestidigitation clean things?
Yes.
Can it clean water and?
Not water.
Oh,
I'll be honest with you. You know that Giva can purify food and water. She mentioned that, but she's not with
So
me.
can our Our homeboy, Rohal. He has to like swap his spells out, but he could if he so chose.
Good to know.
It has to be the tomorrow though.
You can also just make water.
I can give you control of Rohal for now, if you'd like. So, because you're an experienced player, he mentioned an experienced person can take over, so I'll give you control.